Hello, everybody. Andrew Zimmern here. Old T-shirt, not in a hotel. Standing up, which is why we have the weird perspective here, and why I will be looking down. Although I'm probably going to be, I'm going to have to hold my questions up here. Bum neck, stiff neck. What can I say? And I can't. It's a long story. Suffice it to say, it's been a goofy start to the week, only because we had a holiday on Monday. I hope everybody had a lovely Labor Day weekend, however you choose to celebrate it, hopefully with people that you care about, doing the traditional thing of eating something that comes off of a grill. I was at the food and wine event put on by the Bromberg brothers of Blue Ribbon fame in partnership with the Auberge at Mount Alani Hotel. Wonderful property on the Kona coast. Talk about an idyllic place to have a small, intimate food festival. If you were looking to put a circle around the calendar, you should definitely do so for Labor Day weekend of next year. It is a wonderful, wonderful way to get away for a while and have great food events in an intimate gathering with great chefs. People always want a real experience. All the events take place most of them are down on the water or next to the water. There's only a couple hundred tickets sold to every event. It's very, 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 as I said, intimate and a great experience. And I think, based on everything that I've spoken to guests about, to a person, they were absolutely thrilled. So I encourage you to come next year and check it out. We have a couple of requests for restaurant guides, tips on where to eat in different places, both Norway in general for one inquirer and the city of Porto in Portugal. We will get to those in a little while. Two articles of note that were brought to my attention. One from Savour, written... was an interview with Alice Waters about gardening that reminded some people of last week's end of summer salad, which is a recipe that I've made twice just in the last 10 days. It is delicious. It is, if you've not seen it, it's made with roasted peaches and tomatoes and sort of empty the vegetable crisper out variety of ingredients. But the idea is by roasting the peaches and the tomatoes, you actually concentrate their flavor and then serve them room temperature with a whole variety of different things. Because they're sweet and sour, when you focus all that flavor, I like to put sweet and sour things on there, from feta cheese, which has got a briny sourness and a dairy sweetness, to real aged balsamic vinegar. So, and about a dozen other things I threw on there. Delicious. And if you've not seen that, you should go back to the archive and check it out. And if you're watching this, yes, that means you're a paid subscriber. So you do have access to the archive. So you can go back and see all those recipes that you missed. But anyway, Alice Waters is interviewed and talks about her relationship with her garden and gardening that I would encourage everybody to read. It's really wonderful and reminds me once again why Alice is such a treasure and so inspirational to so many of us who love to cook. And a really fun article from the New York Times, both of which we're linking to here, on American burger variations. And the point of the article, it has 12 wonderful pictures of 12 incredible burger makers and their burgers. And as one of the burger makers says, the one way, as someone who's not born in this country, to make a piece of food their own, he's speaking from a cultural point of view, is to turn a dish of theirs into a burger. And while some of the burgers are very traditional, the El Reno, Oklahoma's onion burger, they happen to have picked a restaurant about 30 miles away from El Reno for the article, but no matter, Oklahoma onion burger is in there. A classic smash burger, although There are several smash burgers in the piece. They chose one from George Motz's Hamburger America in New York City. There are a lot of stories of Malaysian cooks, Thai cooks, who have taken Mexican cooks who have taken ingredients, flavors, techniques from their food cultures and basically put them through the burger prism. And I found it absolutely fascinating because as someone who makes burgers all the time, I do the same thing all the time at home. And in fact, just posted, I think, in the run-up to Labor Day weekend on my Instagram, a picture of my Mexican-inspired pork burger. And I essentially took all the flavors that are in chorizo, put them into ground pork, let it sit overnight in the fridge. Recipe is on my website at andrewzimmern.com. And then I put an avocado and tomatillo salsa on top and pickled onions and grated cotija cheese. And it's just a glorious, glorious burger. I think the week beforehand, I just defrosted some Sloppy Joes, which I consider to be a form of a burger. It's a loose meat sandwich, but I think it's also got some burgerish elements to it. And I do lamb burgers with feta cheese and, all kinds of things. But it did get me thinking about creativity with burgers. And I really think you can do so many different things with the idea of ground blank, whatever kind of meat you choose to use, or seafood, and buns, bread, however you want to make it. It is a limitless world of variations. You can do, it's very popular. A lot of restaurants have the French onion soup style burger. We serve one down at Patty and Frank's, my burger restaurant in Atlanta at the Chattahoochee Market. But probably my favorite burger of all time, and I spent a year trying to perfect it, and I'm very proud that it was named one of America's top 5 burgers on ABC's The Chew when it was on. And I actually flew in and made the burger back when that show was on. But it was a cabrito burger, a ground baby goat, and we mixed in a little bit of pork fat in there just to give it a little more juiciness because that meat is very, very lean. And we had roasted tomatoes and grilled onions, the roasted tomatoes just like the ones I did on that salad the other day. And it's such a simple thing. But we also put a very, very big flavored whipped compound butter on it, because I had gone to Solly's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and where the butter burger was invented. And I knew I wanted to do a butter burger of a type on our food truck when we first rolled it out, but I didn't know what. And then it hit me with the goat that I could do one that had a lot of flavor in it, shallots and herbs and lemon juice, and we would just whip that up, and at room temperature, it's light and fluffy and just starts to melt and gives a steaky flavor to it's kind of trompe l'oeil in your mind. It fakes you out a little bit. When you char the burger the right way and you have that compound butter on there. Anyway, this article is great because it reminded me there's so many different ways to do a burger. And on a bun, if you do a burger that's inspired by Szechuan tangerine beef, it'll set off those cues and make you think of all of those wonderful tangerine beef meals that you've had in different restaurants. That's what I love about burgers. It's a great canvas for flavor, but as the article suggests, a great canvas for culture as well. All right, on to your questions. Andrew, I have several packages of Texas paper shell pecans, which are 5 to 6 years old. I hope they're sealed well. Picked by my brother-in-law from a tree in his backyard in Abilene. That sounds awesome. They are carefully sealed, have been kept in our spare fridge. Other than making a pie or chopping them up for topping, what creative use might you have for them? Think outside the box, chef. Wow, do I love those kind of challenges. And by the way, I read these when I do these. So I have not thought about this at all. Well, nuts go in so many different things. And you are asking about other than chopping them up for topping or making a pie. Well, you don't necessarily have to chop them up, but any kind of cookie. My favorite way to eat pecans is in pralines or pralines, as they call them down in New Orleans, Louisiana. And candying with pecans, if that is the appropriate verb for making candy, is the first thing I think of, is pecans and caramel and pecans and pralines. And when they're done the right way, they don't have to be too sweet. I am a huge pecan bar guy, and I have my great aunt Suzanne's pecan bar recipe on the website at andrewzimmern.com. And that's what I enjoy that as a way to eat pecans as much as anybody. But I will tell you, despite the fact that they are a little papery, in other words, it's hard to get their skin off the way we do with hazelnuts, for example, or peanuts, I would still grind them up and use them in pestos and things like that, because I love the flavor of a toasted pecan more than I love the flavor of just about any nut that there is out there. There are also some really delicious dips from the Middle East. What is it? Muhammara, that uses walnuts and roasted peppers. I would do that with pecans. Anything that you would do with a walnut, you can do better with a pecan. How's that for inviting controversy? Sophie writes, "Hi, Andrew. It's still August, and pumpkin spice is already everywhere." Somebody brought that up with me today on a Zoom call, and I just about lost it. Not just pumpkin spice lattes, but pumpkin spice everything. Yeah, it's horrible. Have we hit the limit on pumpkin spice? I sure hope so. What fall flavor should be the new pumpkin spice? How about the fall flavor of doing good things in the world, right? It's just that time of year. Everyone's back to school. Let's support kids. If I have to look at one more Twitter post from a teacher in a school who needs help buying school supplies for her classroom, it's just crazy to me. If I have to read about one more, Nevada just repealed their Let's Feed All Kids universal free lunch, but there's only 9 states now that Nevada is out that offer children universal free school lunch program. Let's focus on that. And I'm not making fun of your question, Sophie. I think it's a great one. I just think we have fetishized food enough. And I fully admit, before you start writing me letters, I fully admit I'm part of the problem. I am in the food media in a very big way. I know that I still create television shows, some of which I'm actually in, that fetishizes food. But I think we've gotten to that point in our lives where in 2024, all of our lives, has nothing to do with age, has to do with where we are as a society, that we need to start thinking about doing things for other people and making sure that this food life that we all get to talk about is available for everyone. Now, on the subject of pumpkin spice everything, I love pumpkins. I actually brought this up on the meeting today. I said, whatever happened to just roasting pumpkins? Sugar bear pumpkins, I live in Minnesota, so we're a little ways away from pumpkins coming out of the pumpkin patch. But at the end of September, beginning of October, when pumpkins start to be, available at farm stands where I live, I love splitting them, rinsing, drying, roasting or frying the seeds, and then salting them. I love pumpkin seeds. And then baking the pumpkin pieces with butter and brown sugar and treating them the way you would any other kind of squash. I love making pumpkin gnocchi with them. And I don't put the spice part in there, so not everything has to have that pumpkin pie flavor, which is really what we're talking about here. And that's my other big issue with pumpkin spice everything. It's more about the seasoning, the flavor, the aroma, the nutmeg, cinnamon, clove combination with a little bit of ground ginger and cardamom that drives me nuts, because it means that everything is going to taste the same. The great thing about pumpkin or other squashes or other tubers, all the potatoes, is that they're wonderful platforms for other flavors. You can do so many things with it. So try to do other things with pumpkins. Let's try to get that pumpkin spice flavor out, more pumpkins in, supporting American farmers, and let's think about doing things for kids now that it's back to school time. A couple questions about the state fair came to me. Peggy wrote, how is the deep fried ranch? Awful, but it was a huge hit and most people loved it. And just like there's chocolate ice cream and vanilla ice cream, it's just not I could have told you I wouldn't have liked it the moment I heard about it. I also am aware that, and I did try it, they put ranch seasoning into cream cheese, put the cream cheese into a pastry and fried them. So you had a very thin pastry shell, you had something hot and runny-ish that just was incredibly redolent of ranch dressing. I couldn't think of eating anything more boring. It was like putting a big bite of congealed fat into my mouth. And it's a brilliant item to cook at a festival or carnival because everyone wants to try it. A bunch of them come to an order, so 2 or 3 people could stand around and all try it, right? I don't know of anyone, because I asked everyone who loved it, I said, did you go back on another day and have one? And none of them said yes, but they all said they were really glad they tried it and it was great. And I said, then why didn't you go back and get one? Oh, we needed to eat other things, etc., which I understand. If you're a fan of the state fair and you go multiple times, you're going to eat different things on different days so you can have all your favorites. There's so much great food out there. But yeah, not my kind of thing. Bosk writes, how do you eat 30 plus foods at one fair? Well, actually, I ate 30. Well, I didn't eat all 33 new foods. I didn't make it to one booth and had to go at 0:30 the next morning before I recorded any of my sort of like state fair picks and pans and stuff like that. But I am very good at taking a very small bite, sometimes almost nothing, of things that I know are just going to be awful. And there are some things when you get to see them that you're obligated to try, but you're going to just take a tiny little bite of. And then there's other things, and here's the problem, that you take a bite of and it is curl your toes delicious, and then you're like, oh my God, I am going to have to give this food away to someone else, not eat it all, and come back when I'm actually hungry and can eat for satiety and fullness, as opposed to just take a bite. But it's just discipline. I had there were certain foods I took 2 or 3 bites of, but that was it. Couldn't do anything more than that because you're just eating all day. Kayla writes, what do you eat after a big eating event like the state fair? Nothing. I don't think I ate what did I have the Thursday night that the state fair opened? Because I go on opening day, I eat all the new items that are available. I don't think I ate anything. I was still full. I don't think I had anything for breakfast the next day. I was still full. I mean, the coy answer would be a salad, right? Okay, so we have, who was it that asked about Norway? Gary is going to Norway next year. And I do have a couple of quick places that I think you should go. You said all of Norway, so you didn't say Oslo. So I'm going to give you a bunch of mine in various places in the country. And again, my Norwegian is awful. So I hope I'm pronouncing all these correctly. Some I know how to pronounce them. Maemo, Maemo, is fantastic in Oslo. That is the multi-Michelin starred restaurant that many consider to be the best restaurant in Norway. If that's your thing, go there. Mathallen, Oslo, Mathallen. Mathallen, Oslo is actually the name of the food hall. It is also in Oslo, obviously. Restaurants, food halls, food stalls, produce, fish, communal wooden benches, an incredible pub in the basement, which I believe has Norway's largest or longest bar there. I mean, the Mathallen is incredible. I mean, you could go there every day for lunch and have a different experience. But if you get out of Oslo, there's a place called Fjellstua, Fjellstua, which is on the top of Oxla Mountain in Alesund, Norway, Alesund. That's fantastic. In Bergen, great view from there, but all these places have superb food. And only the first restaurant is the serious Michelin star place that's expensive. All the other places are very, very much all about everyone. If you get to Bergen, go to Zuperia, Zupperia. Lots of meal in a bowl foods. It's not just soup. Yes, there are soup, but they also have stews and things like that are a little heartier. So I would go there as well. Fisketorget, Fisketorget, is in Stavanger, Stavanger, Norway. It's both a market and a restaurant, and it is all about the seafood. And in Norway, I would argue, like certain places like Hokkaido, Japan, like other spots around the world, has some of the best seafood on planet Earth, and handled so meticulously, and has certain things that you cannot get outside of that place in Norway. Certain types of crayfish and other mollusks and things that you're just not going to find anywhere else. So I would seriously encourage you to try all of their different goodies there. Super casual restaurant, Baklandet, Baklandet, in Trondheim, and all of these towns. I mean, if you're going to go around Norway, these are the places that you're going to go. Is just an incredible Scandinavian pub. It's a place to have a beer or some aquavit and, hearty pub fare. It's just wonderful, in a very, very old building. In Oslo, there's a restaurant called Hosthea, Hosthea. It's just outside of downtown Oslo. It's very much modern Nordic cuisine. Let's see, there was another one. Anita's Sjomat, ANITAS SJOMAT, another great seafood restaurant in Rein, REINE, Norway. In Bergen, restaurant 1877, as the name implies, it is very much old school. If you had to narrow it down to 8 or 9, those are the places that I would go. Nancy writes, Andrew, I'm taking a trip in late October to Porto in Portugal. Do you have suggestions for where and what to eat? And here's the part that I think is really interesting. The reason I'm not sure I'm going to Porto is because I'm going on a mystery trip through check out this website. And it's a website for a company called Journey, JOURNEE. I believe their website is journeytrips.com. It is, let me double check that, because when I popped it open a second ago to take a look, it took me to somewhere else. Nope, Journey Trips. So here's what you do. At Journey Trips, you fill out a questionnaire, you get matched to a destination based on your travel taste. They take care of everything else, and you find out where you're going when you get to the airport. And on their website, they have a picture of all these people who have this look of glee, like in video, like they just won $1 bajillion. And I guess in the questionnaire, which I've not looked at, it definitely says they're not going to send you to a ski destination if you don't know how to ski. So I'm sure there's some preferencing so that you get the trip that excites you. And maybe I'm too intense of a traveler. I fully admit, as someone who's been around the world 800 times, I do not want to be surprised when I travel. I want to be prepared when I travel, emotionally, mentally, every other way. I don't want it to be a roll the dice thing. However, I know a lot of people, especially much younger folks, who would be like, yeah, I'm going with my best friend. Here's our budget. We have 1 week. Surprise us. So if that's your thing, check out Journey. I had never heard of it. I thought it was really, really cool. But when it comes to the wonderful city of Porto, remember, in Porto, they drink more wine per capita than any other place on planet Earth. Obviously, they grow a lot of grapes there. They make a lot of wine. But that's an incredible, incredible feature. So as someone who doesn't drink, I'm encouraging you, make sure you go there and take the opportunity. Any place where there's that much wine drinking going on is because the wine there is superb. So go there and check it out. The Casa de Cha de Boa Nova is one of my favorite places there. It's sitting on top of the ocean. It's got 2 Michelin stars. It serves, local seafood and fish is their specialty. And obviously, Porto being a city on the water, and Portugal having some of the best seafood in the world. Same deal. It's what you want to eat when you're there. That's Casa, C-A-S-A, de Cha, C-H-A-D-A-B-O-A-N-O-V-A. Definitely want to go there. I'm just looking down my list of places. Oh, another market that I love to, Mercado de Matosinhos, Mercado, M-A-T-O-S-I-N-H-O-S. Spelling things in Portuguese and pronouncing them, again, not my best thing. But there are, just the freshest seafood and places that cook the stuff for you. So you can take stuff home to your, VRBO if you're staying in one, or eat there, do both. I went there almost every day I was in Porto. There's a classification of restaurant called mariscarias in Portugal, and these are casual seafood taverns that only serve the freshest seafood, where everything is on the proverbial chalkboard, and that chalkboard changes every day depending on what the local vendors bring in. And there's a mariscaras, you get what I'm trying to say, no pun intended, called O Gavetto, O separate word, Gavetto, G-A-V-E-T-O, that is just unreal. And they do, their most famous dish is a lobster with rice that's absolutely out of this world. Let's see. I always have to look through my list because I keep these lists, and when someone asks, to go there, I don't want to send you to the cool Scandinavian restaurant in Porto with the hipster chef, regardless of how good the food is, because unless I'm going there and for like the umpteenth time, that I don't want to eat Scandinavian food when I'm in Portugal, right? That's just sort of like traveling and eating 101. And I like to go with places that are heavy on regional dishes and cuisine of the area. Tascas are, again, casual eating spots, more of an emphasis on food than on drink, but certainly have great ones. And there's a Tasquinha called Zé Povinho, Z-E, separate word, P-O-V-I-N-H-O, that does a lot of regional fare, super casual, that I just absolutely love. Just going down my list. Oh, wine bar, Genuino. I went with friends when we were shooting there. It looked amazing, and the crew kept going back there. Genuino, G-E-N-U-I-N-O. They also have a sister spot next door that's a pizzeria called Generosa, I think. But anyway, it's right next door. You can't miss it. If you're going to have a wine bar, it's super smart to put your own pizza shop next door, because when everyone is really good and sloshed on great wine, who doesn't want pizza, right? I know I do. Bakery. Oh, Cozinha das Flores, Cozinha das Flores, Flores, open fire kitchen, all very creative takes on traditional Portuguese dishes, which is what I think is so fantastic about it, because why wouldn't you want to do that? If you're into meat and you want to have a big meaty meal, I would definitely go to Belos Aires restaurant, Belosaires, and as the name implies, it focuses on meat preparations that kind of blend the Argentine meat tradition with Portuguese ingredients, and is just absolutely wonderful. Cool cocktails at a place called Torto, Torto. A lot of new cocktaily places, especially in hotels that are there. But I like more casual little places like the Taberna dos Mercadores, Taberna dos Mercadores, Mercadores. Small little cafe that maybe has 25 seats, traditional Portuguese cocido, stewed lamb with peas and greens. And I mean, it's just one of my favorite places ever. And because everyone always asks, I will leave you with this. There's a place called Conservas y Petiscos, Petiscos, Conservas y Petiscos, and they specialize in tinned fish. And not only can you eat tinned fish dishes there, you can buy every kind of tinned fish made in Portugal there, and you can take it all home and give them away to your friends, or store them up in your cupboard the way I do, and break them out when you're alone and hungry, and you empty a sleeve of saltines out on the cutting board and just eat tinned fish and saltines until you can't eat anymore. Have a great rest of your week. See you later.